Welcome to She Roars Boldly. I am your host, Dr. Debra. Today, we're going to be diving into the stories of extraordinary women who are rewriting the rules, shattering expectations, and refusing to fade into the background. Empowered women say no to being defined by their challenges in a world that tries to silence and sideline them. She Roars Boldly celebrates the remarkable journeys of women who have transformed their struggles into stepping stones to success. So grab your coffee or tea, settle in, and get ready to be inspired and fired up. Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Debra, and this is She Roars Boldly. And we have another segment. I know you're just going to love this person. I got to speak with her in Detroit, and it was a lovely time, and we got to know each other. We got sat next to each other, and we just had a lot of fun. Particularly, they had some dancing. They had some
English. The dancing.
Yeah. So we just had a really, really good time. So I'm just going to turn it over to Veronica here and let her tell you a little about herself, and we'll take it from there. Go ahead.
Well, I love to dance, as you just alluded to. That is one of my passions, and I will be dancing into eternity. It's just a beautiful, natural way to have fun. So I am the author of Crushed But Not Conquered, and the subtitle is A Guide to Celebrating the Champion in You. And as I think about it in retrospect, a more fitting title, perhaps, or subtitle could have been A Guide to Awakening the Champion in You, because you have to first awaken and recognize the champion in you before you're able to celebrate the champion in you. And it's really something that I am passionate about. So, yes, I am an author, obviously, and life coach, transformational life coach, as well as a keynote speaker and spoken word performance artist. So I wear a lot of hats, but they all are intertwined actually and complement each other. And it's a joy for me to be able to express myself creatively and walk in purpose at the same time.
Oh, yes, I love that. We as women have so much to give out there, and sometimes people don't recognize that, particularly men. But we do. We have been probably through more as women than men ever see. I mean, men have their struggles. I'm not diluting that, but I know we have our challenges, and I know we both talk on how to get past a lot of those challenges. And a lot of us women are out there saying, empowering each other. What do you have to say to women about, being their authentic self and, just really owning who they are?
I think it starts with knowing yourself. And some people don't really know themselves. And you have to take the time to know yourself, get to know yourself. When you think about it, you spend so much time with yourself, right? So you need to be able to understand and know yourself, enjoy your company. Because I'm self-entertaining. I can be in a group of people and have fun. I can be by myself and have fun, and not everybody can do that. They need to be around others. So knowing yourself, understanding yourself and what you value, because you have to know what your core values are. That's really important to understand so that you're not just winging it through life and just going with the flow with every turn and direction, because that way you can stay grounded and you can stay on the right path and not be dissuaded. So when you understand what your core values are, what your belief system is, and what your purpose is, that empowers you in itself, because you can walk in that spirit without being distracted. And it's like I always say, the climb up the mountain, it's not a perfect climb, but it's a steady climb. And you keep climbing up that mountain. I think we need something to look forward to. And that gives us hope because people lose hope when they don't have something that they're looking forward to. And that's also empowering. And we have to wake up and be grateful and understand that we didn't have to be here this day. It's a blessing to wake up and think about what you're grateful for and what you're looking forward to do and accomplishing in that day. And it can't just be all rambling around in your head. You need to have a system in place.
Oh, I love that. I probably need to work a little more on my system, but I love that. So
We all,
your mountain, I like that. I was thinking, I think sometimes when we slip down that mountain a little, as women, we tend to beat ourselves up rather
yes.
than, do you have some advice to women out there that when they're feeling like, okay, I guess I'm a failure, I guess I can't do it, and they start going in that negative, do you have some advice to give them?
I say be kind to yourself, love yourself, forgive yourself. If we can be kind to others, why can't we be kind to ourselves? If we can forgive others, why is it difficult for us sometimes to forgive ourselves and go into these self-sabotaging thought patterns? Like, oh, like it's like, don't say this. I'm not good enough. I'm stupid. Like, those are words that should never come out of your mouth because you're giving life to the words that you speak and the thoughts that you think, even. So I would say, love yourself, definitely, and be willing to be patient with yourself and understand that you're not perfect. None of us, we're going to be flawed until the day we leave this planet. All we can do is strive for continuous improvement, knowing that we will never be perfect. But if we're progressing and improving, that's something that you can feel good about inside because you know that you're working in the right direction, going in the right direction. So I would say don't ever berate yourself. Always be loving, forgiving, and kind to yourself, and know that we're going to make mistakes. And it's okay. That's a part of the journey because if you're not doing anything, you won't make any mistakes. You have to be doing something and you learn from them and you go on. And what some people do is they take that whole experience that was painful and lug it with them, but you don't need to do that. You just take the lesson that you learned from that experience and you take that forward. You carry that forward. You don't have to keep reliving those painful moments that kept you down. And so just be kind to yourself.
Oh, yeah. And that reminds me of, what Oprah says about failure, stepping stones to greatness. We're all going to fail. We're all going to fall a little short. We're human. Everybody's human.
Yes,
You are so right. But just keep stepping. Just keep going.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Um, could you describe a specific obstacle that seemed almost insurmountable that you ultimately overcame? Talking about climbing mountains.
Oh, wow. There have been so many throughout my life, but I will share a life-changing event when my nephew passed. In fact, that was the motivation for writing my book, Crushed But Not Conquered, because I was literally crushed when my nephew made his transition because he was more than just a nephew. He was a fusion of nephew, son, brother, very close. And it was suddenly, and he was young. And navigating through that was one of the most difficult things because there hadn't been anyone else in my family that was close to me that had passed. So this was the first, and it was him, and it was like my kryptonite, right? And so that
Mhm.
was something that I didn't know how to go on from. I couldn't process the grief. I didn't even know what grief was and all the stages of it. So that was a major obstacle, and just learning from that experience that you can rise again and that you do have something to live for, and that's that discovery of the purpose, that you have purpose beyond that loss. And if you can focus on that, that will help you to get through it, because you don't get over it. And that's what I learned. But you find a way to navigate through it, and you go on and hopefully do something meaningful with your life. But that was definitely a major obstacle, because I was in a trance for quite a while.
Oh, I know you're a lot of women out there. I know just in my own family and Facebook friends and people I've known through school have gone through something like that. It's hard. For me, it was my mom.
Mm,
It, I didn't know how to get past it because I didn't get to grieve.
mm,
Grieving is a huge part of getting past it.
yeah.
I was told by people, and I mean, I've seen this a lot. I was told by people, why are you crying? You know, she went to God. And that shut me down for months. And I got sick. Like you
Mm,
said, you got sick, right? Yeah, inside because you're shoving it down in you and you're not processing it. I don't know why we think we got to be so brave because our
mhm.
tears can be cleansing and healing. Absolutely.
Yes, yes. Just be authentic and be vulnerable. Just be in that vulnerability of grief. Um, yes, like you said, they said, oh, she went to God. But that does not change the fact that your loved one is gone.
Not with me. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't. And yet sometimes we say those kind of things to people. I guess we're trying to be helpful. I don't know, but definitely something we got to let people grieve. We got to let
Yeah.
ourselves go. I love that. I really love your example because I know there's probably nobody that's listening to this that hasn't lost someone and been through that
It's a
and how
part of the cycle of life.
it is. It really is. And it, it it can really you can really get stuck in that, and you don't want to get stuck there. You
Right.
want to keep moving through it, but it's hard. It's never easy.
Right. And
Um,
I didn't have a support group like some people go to a grieving support group. I didn't have that. So this was just, on my own, on my own.
wow. So, can you name a critical moment or moments when you realized that you needed to change your life trajectory, that you need to go in a different direction?
I think one of the things that I have periodically struggled with was procrastination. You have these great ideas. Yes, this would be great. And I can do this and I can do that. And it all sounds good on paper, but you find reasons to procrastinate. That was a big one for me, which is why I've often dubbed myself former self princess of procrastination, because that's how it felt. And nothing was getting accomplished if you keep procrastinating on everything. So that was a big one, and it really had to do with the mindset. And so it required a shift in my mindset to understand what I value, why do I value it, and this is important because, and what is the cost of not following through, right?
Right.
When you think about that, it's like your vision has to be greater than your current reality for you to continue to take those consistent action steps. Because some of us will get started. We're great at getting started with doing
Yeah.
stuff, right? But it's the follow through and commitment to finish it. And that's, again, the mindset and the ability to focus on the right things, because we may be focusing on the wrong things, right? But we have to focus on the right things.
Yeah, I think we both speak on kind of that area, if I remember correctly. Um, as women, sometimes we spread ourselves so thin that we're not really embracing what we're supposed to be embracing. We think we have to do all this stuff. Men
Mm-hmm.
don't, my husband doesn't do that. I mean, like I said to him, you know, what do you do? I go to work, I come home, watch TV. That's a man. Ask a woman what they do.
They
You
can
know,
name you 50 things. You're right. Absolutely. You know, we wear a lot of hats as women, have a lot of roles and responsibilities.
right. But maybe we have some we can lose. Maybe
Yes,
we,
no,
yeah,
absolutely. And that's one of the things I talk about in the book as well, because we're juggling. We've got all these balls in the air that we're juggling. And sometimes we don't need to juggle so many, right? You need to let some drop, just let them drop. And that's when you're able to prioritize, and then you know which ones need to drop and which ones you need to focus on, because the sequence matters too. It's like, oh yeah, we got all these things, but you can get overwhelmed with trying to do too much and end up accomplishing nothing because you're not following through on anything, right?
I, yes, I agree. Um,
One of the
what's,
chapters in my book,
yeah, what's
it's
some ways
called,
we can, yeah, refocus? How can we refocus? I know there's no magic plan, but if you have some ideas you can share.
well, it ties into minding your mind, which is one of the chapters in my book. Is called Mind Your Mind. There's one, mind your mind, and then master your mind. So if you mind your mind, that means you're ridding it of those counterproductive, unnecessary things that clutter the mind. So you really have to declutter it. It's like filling the cup. You don't want to fill the cup when there's a lot of junk already in it with the good stuff. You want to get rid of the bad stuff and then fill the cup with the good stuff, right? And that's what we need to do with the mind, because a lot of the thoughts that are recirculating and ruminating in our minds aren't healthy thoughts that are going to move us forward. And
Oh,
so we have
wow.
to replace those. And we do that, and that's part of the refocusing. When we replace those with the right thoughts, then we're able to focus on the right things, because what we focus on, we give our energy to, right?
Oh, I love that. You're right. And sometimes we waste our energy. I love that.
Yeah.
Just showing it where, and usually it's a place nobody wants us to put our energy, really. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
I do,
Particularly,
because there's the energy, and you want to be vibrating on positive energy at a higher level, not at the lower levels of energy with that negative thinking and self-defeating thinking and self-sabotaging thinking. That's lower level energy. We need to bring our energy levels up, right? And operate from that plane, and we'll notice a difference in our state of being and in how we walk through the world.
yes, exactly. There's some kind of, I don't know, I'm thinking as you're talking, sometimes, when we find ourselves doing that low level energy of parading ourselves and pushing ourselves into things, well, I don't even want to do that, or, going on. Maybe we should have a catchword or something we can tell ourselves. I don't know. You got a
Catch,
clever
oh,
one?
to stop doing that, a catchword to stop doing that, you mean?
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Something you can say to yourself, okay. Just kind of a
Yeah.
Pavlov dog response, you know what I mean? That,
Like,
come
snap
up with
out of
some,
it. That causes you to just snap out of it, right?
right. I like snap out of it. I like that. Let's do that.
Snap out of it.
So when you guys are out there and you find yourself in that blah 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 in your head, just go, wait a minute, snap out of
Snap
it.
out
So
of
pick
it.
yourself a little. It's all right.
That's right. That's right. It's like shifting the gear. When you snap out of it, you're shifting the gear, right? It's like, what channel are you tuned to? Are you tuned to the channel with these positive vibes or the negative vibes? Switch that channel. Simple as that.
Yeah, because it's easy to slip into that. So easy. It
Well,
really
look at
is.
all you have going on in the world, right? In the world, in the nation, in our communities, in our lives. It's just a lot. And so it's
A
easy to get
lot.
sucked into that, right? And focus on that. But that's the wrong thing. We need to uplift our thoughts, right?
Right.
To not focusing on what we don't want, but what it is that we do want. And I'll give you a quick example. When I'm a billiards player, right? Pool, for those who don't know the term. And we grew up with a pool table in the house, and my brothers would always beat me. And they would just not even want to play me after a while because, oh, she's no competition for us. But I went to an upscale pool hall, and a tournament player instructed me. And this was a life lesson, not just a billiards lesson.
Yeah.
When you hold that pool stick, a lot of people focus on the cue ball, the white ball, right? But what he taught me, no, you focus on where you want the ball to go, not where the ball is. That's a life lesson.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. And I noticed the difference in my game after that. When I started focusing on where I wanted the ball to land, my game improved. That's a life lesson.
Wow. That is such a life lesson because we get all wrapped up in the now and we're not really aiming at anything.
Right. Right.
That's powerful.
It is. And I never forgot that day. It's like, wow, this is awesome. Right. And I thanked him.
Yeah.
He didn't know that he was giving me a life lesson. He thought he was just teaching me how to play pool better. But, he really did. And I think that's something that we all have to remember.
It really is because if we're just stuck in the now, we're just probably going to end up stuck in the now and never get past the now. And maybe that goes with that procrastination you were talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have these ideas, but we don't, the ideas are like out there, and we're not looking out there like, how can I get from here to there? And I did that for years too. I hear you totally. And I'm starting to actually focus, getting things where it need to be. I got classes now and a podcast, but I've really put my focus on out there.
Mm-hmm.
So much worried about, okay, my kids are upset about this, or this is happening, or I need to do this, or yeah, I've started. Um, I don't know. I don't know about you, but it was hard for me because I felt it was being selfish. I did, and it's not. But when I started that, I felt selfish. Think, oh, I'm focused on what I want, but it really isn't, is it?
No, it isn't. It isn't. You have to prioritize yourself. Procrastination is a habit, and it's just like that habit, you can develop better habits to replace it, but it requires that repetition, not that inconsistent. Because I do know that if it's inconsistent application, you're going to have inconsistent results. And that's not what we need to break a habit and start a new habit. It needs to be repetitive and consistent.
Yes.
And you should.
It's hard. Exactly.
But life is hard. And so if we know that from the get-go, then you can just relinquish any notion that it's going to be easy and just prepare yourself that it's going to be hard. Let me get suited up and ready and have that champion mindset.
Okay, so what do you say to a woman who says, well, yeah, I want to do this. I got these dreams, these things I want to do, but somebody's going to get mad at me.
somebody's going to get mad at me. Is
Yeah, like
that
your family, because you may be letting them down, or your kids want this, or your husband wants that. And, a lot of people are afraid people can get mad at them, their families.
for
Their,
following their dream?
yeah, and it does happen.
I
And
can appreciate that it would happen, but I would hope that you have people in your life that are supportive. Um, as long as you are not neglecting them, because it's again, you have multiple responsibilities and roles, right? If especially if you're a mom, you're a wife, and whatever other responsibilities you have. But again, you have to be able to prioritize and determine what your core values are and what matters the most to you. And hopefully, if you have those supportive, loving people in your lives, it wouldn't be an issue. So I would say if people aren't going to be supportive, then you should question whether these are the right people that should be in your circle.
that's exactly what I wanted to say. Yeah, exactly. Because you're never going to please some people and some family members, and
Correct.
even some children. You're never going to be. You may do it right 12 times, and the 13th time not. You have to go for more than just pleasing people, because
Absolutely.
you may not be pleasing some people, but you may be actually showing them a lesson, particularly our daughters, our granddaughters, our nieces. What kind of legacy as women are we leaving to the young women in our lives? And sometimes that means you can't do everything, but you start to teach them how to become, like you're talking, that whole person. Maybe
Hmm.
not doing some of the mistakes that you've made or I've made.
Hmm.
So that is so important. Speaking of that, if you were sitting on a couch right now with your younger self, around 20, 18, 20, and what kind of conversation would you have with yourself? That's my favorite question.
That's a great question. That's a great question. Thinking of my mindset then, and my rebellious nature then, and I would say don't take things so seriously. I would be reminding myself to have fun, laugh more, because that first broken heart, you feel like it's the end of the world, you know, the end of life, right? And you don't know because it's your first, right? And I would tell her, I know you can't understand this now or even imagine this now, but you will get over this and life will get better. And just enjoy it and not be so um, serious. There's a place for it and there's a place for humor too, and have that balance because everything was like so set in stone. Like if one thing happened, it was like a domino effect, right? And it doesn't have to be that way. So I would just tell her to relax, have more fun. It's fine to want to be the most that you can be, but in the process, have friends, be there for them, and enjoy life. Because we can get so bogged down with trying to discover something that we forget to enjoy the journey. We're so busy trying to get to a destination. Enjoy the journey is what I would tell my younger self.
Oh, I love that. Enjoy the journey. Really, really good. Um, yeah, I think sometimes we got two types of people, some that don't plan at all when they're younger, but you sound more like me, the more serious type.
Yeah.
And really, you don't have to be that serious at that point. So
Not, yeah, you don't, and not all the time.
and open yourself to possibilities, because sometimes I think we think we're supposed to go down them. In fact, if you remember my speech, it was like I wanted to do this, but I was doing it all along and didn't realize I wanted to be a teacher. Didn't get the degree, but I had been a
Mm-hmm.
teacher long, and I still am. But I didn't see that because I didn't open myself to the possibilities. I thought I had to be a certain way and I had to follow these rules and I had to do it this way because the work said I had to do it that way. And
Right,
missed out all that time of enjoyment being frustrated at something I was already doing.
right.
I wish I could talk to you when I was young. That would have been good.
We had our blind spots, and you're young and you're still learning, um, and hopefully we're going to continue learning for as long as we're living. Because I always say this is a learning lab. Life, it is a learning lab, and you're never going to learn it all. But just stay curious and keep striving to be your best.
Oh, that is really good too, because my other field I talk in is aging, and I talk to people that just feel that it's over, and it's not over.
Mm.
No, you got so
As long
much
as
in
you're living,
to
it's not.
give. It's not over. And when you start thinking it's over, then it is over for you. You start to
Mhm.
get sick, you start to get depressed. No, you got to keep that learning and that openness
Because you
that
start
you,
acting like it's over. Like you said, if you think it's over, you're going to start acting like it's over.
yeah. And what fun is that?
None,
None. It's not
none,
fun.
not at
There's
all.
always something new. There's always something to learn. There's always something to do. Um, I know some of the colleges even offer doctoral programs to people that have gone to college. If you're over 65, they give it to you free.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
nice.
Louisville
I didn't
had one. Somebody
either.
was telling me that, and it's like, you know, as long as you're learning, you're keeping your mind and your brain cells and those little gray cells, like Sherlock Holmes, those little gray cells moving and going. So there's never, I don't think, an age you can't learn something new, do something new, and
Right,
experience something new.
absolutely. And that's part of the journey and a part of the enjoyment of the journey, really. Because I
Exactly.
don't think of aging. Like I stopped using that term as I'm aging. It's like as I'm living longer. That's how I've rephrased it. To give it that positive spin. I'm living longer, and as I'm living longer, I am enjoying the wisdom that I am getting because that's the sweet spot in living longer.
Right. Exactly. And sometimes not having as much of these horrible responsibilities that we have put on ourselves before,
Mhm.
and starting to experience some good things and some freeing things. And that's awesome. Yeah, I don't like a lot of those terms either. And even though I'm work in that field, I'm not always happy with some of the terms because I think we have those connotations. In fact, one of the
Right.
first things I did for the podcast was a rant on labeling. We can't label. We can't label ourselves as young, old, purple, pink, and orange. Because when you
Mhm.
start labeling yourself, you start limiting yourself.
Limiting. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I ask everybody this. What does she roars boldly mean to you?
What was that?
What does she roars boldly mean to you?
She roars boldly.
Yes.
The image
My,
that I have of She Roars Boldly is a woman who is bold, strong, determined, outspoken, and not afraid to be herself, be her authentic self. She's not sitting on the sidelines, sitting in a corner, being placed in a box. She is fully herself and it's like saying, this is who I am, and people can take you or leave you, but you are yourself and you're roaring. That's how I see it.
I love that. That's the best one yet. I just love that.
That's how I see it.
I get
Yes.
a lot of answers and some I would never think of, and one person even said that roaring quietly can be just as strong. You can quietly roar. And I'm like, okay, that's a new one. But yeah, it's about being our authentic selves and being
Absolutely.
exactly who we are. Exactly. And changing the world around us, giving
Yes.
inspiration. All right. So you will share your link to your book with me, right? Do you have
Sure.
a
I will
Yeah,
say.
definitely give it to me. So I'm sure people would like to hopefully pick it up there. You and we'll put it on the call notes, everyone, so that you can. And if you want any other links that they can get a hold of you, ask questions or whatever, please share those with us too, because we would like to learn more. And I'll probably have you back again. Everybody
That
that's helped me out in the beginning gets to come back later for free when I'm charging. That makes sense. Yeah, you got it. Well,
stretch, I
yeah,
conquer,
up just a little bit. Yeah, crushed but not conquered.
but
I
not
love that.
and it's actually a memoir laced inspirational personal development book. So yes, I would definitely send you the link. And
Yes,
I'd love
definitely.
to come back and chat more because this is good for us to have these conversations.
It really is. I wish all the women could just join in because I'm sure they have opinions too, but I know they're thinking hard right now when they're listening. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here with us. And everyone out there, I hope you totally enjoyed this and pick up her book. I know you're going to enjoy it. And to remember to be your authentic self and have fun, dance, and enjoy
Dance
life.
daily.
Yeah, dance. We both love that. Dance and enjoy life. This has been She Wears Foley, and I'm Dr. Deborah. And have a wonderful week. Thank you.